Well, good morning everyone. What I got here is a wood stove made by Cylinder Stoves, and I have converted this thing into a gravity feed pellet feeder, which is what I'm going to show you today. Is kind of a little bit of the R&D that I did on it, and then how I built this thing and how it works. I'll go ahead and start with the stove. This is just a normal stove. I went ahead and modified the back of it. So I've got this bracket here, a couple jacking bolts, cut a hole out of the back. And then what I ended up doing was, because there's just so much pellet ash, I ended up making this little drawer here, which pulls out, and I can take this thing outside the tent, dump it, bring it back, shove it in, and it's ready to go for the next go around. So the next piece is my burn chamber. As you can see here, go ahead and take it apart, show you kind of what it does. So you got this plate here. As you can see, it's got a bunch of holes in it. Just slides into the back of this burn chamber. And then this pin allows me to set how quickly the pellets fall into the burn chamber. This thing here slides right in there like that. And this handle does a couple different things. First off, when it is on here and your hopper's on here and this thing's closed, the pellets can't fall into the burn chamber and be burned. So I can have a fire going in the stove while I'm in the tent, and then when it's time, ready to go to bed, come over here, grab the handle, pull this thing open. I can light it because the pellets have fallen in. In the morning when I wake up and I want to shut it off, I just push that thing in, it shuts off the pellets, and then what it does as well is it clears out that burn chamber. It forces all the pellets that were in that burn chamber to fall into the stove. As you can see, it pushes, we'll dump them all in there. The way the airflow works, air goes in through the back, and the draft in the chimney, of course, sucks the flue gas out. So it just is a continual airflow through the back of this thing. I got, just tighten up on these little jacking bolts, just so this thing sits tight. Okay. So when I go to light it, all right, I pull that handle out, pellets fall in. I've got this little guy here. Just open that up, throw a little lighter fluid in there, light it, close the door, and off it goes. This right here is the bottom of my pellet feeder hopper. They do not make a 10-inch to 3-inch that I could find, so I ended up just welding one up. It's not done, but it's done enough to where it works, and I can run test runs through it, make sure it is what I want before I finish it off. So I'll go ahead and throw this guy on. Fits really snug in there, just like that. Not going anywhere. And then what I ended up having was a 6-inch hopper, and when I burned it, it was burning for, I want to say it was around 4 hours. So did the math, and I figured if I went from the 6-inch to the 10-inch, I would go from about a 4-hour burn to an 11-hour burn. And the first time I burned it, I ended up having a problem with the pellets not quite burning enough, and they ended up backing up and plugging off the hopper. So I added bigger holes in that plate to create more airflow, which allowed the fire to get hotter, and it burned the pellets completely into ash, allowing it to not plug up. So by doing that, I went from the estimated 11 hours down to about 7 hours, which is not as long of a time as I want. But that was with 4 chimney tubes going straight up. And I'm thinking that since my stove comes up chimney pipes 90 across outside the side of the tent and then up, having those 2 90s in there restricting some of the airflow out the flue would cause it to burn a little longer. So I'm hoping for a 9 to 10 hour burn, and we'll get this thing put together and we'll light it off and see how it goes. See if we can get that 9 to 10 hours I'm hoping for. This 10-inch hopper is 2 feet long, and it will hold a complete 40-pound bag of pellets. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chimney on there and fill the hopper up, and we'll light this thing off and see how long it goes. So I got it all put together, everything just as if it was in my tent, including the spark arrestor on the top. But normally my tent wall is about right there. So we'll go ahead and fill that hopper up. I got a 40-pound bag of Eagle Valley pellets. That's what I've been using. It's the only thing available in our area. And I got a little support pole here that I made just to help with that pipe for outside the tent, just because we've had some windy nights in the past, and just wanted to make sure that my chimney pipe was as secure as I could make it. So usually I'll show you. I just took nuts, welded them on, ground off the backside so I can just wrap wire around them. And I only did one right there, but you can do it on the bottom here as well. So go ahead and throw the pellets in there, and then we'll light it. Can I have it?
Yeah. That was blinking red.
Was it blinking red? Okay, yeah, that means it's recording. Anyways, there it is full. I got maybe 3 inches of headroom there left, which is fine. I still got to build a cap for it, but for now, it'll work. So we'll go ahead and light it. All right, so I just opened this up, put a little lighter fluid in there. Go ahead, Sicey, light it up. Oh, no, light that. We already put the lighter fluid. Oh, yeah. You watch me do it. All right, go ahead. There you go. I think I hear it. All right, so pellets are making their way down. We've been burning now for almost 3.5 hours. As you can see, the bottom holes are now plugged up with ash, and the top half of the holes are still letting air through for burn. So I don't know if we're going to make it without plugging up, but if we're at 3.5 hours right there, probably put us at 7 hours about right there. So we might get 8 hours out of this, maybe a little more, 8 to 9 hours. if it doesn't plug up. So we'll check back with you in a little while. Almost 7 hours now, and I would say that hopper is a little under half full. It looks like it really slowed down as far as how much it's feeding. As you can see, I'd say 2/3 of the holes are probably plugged up. Still throwing out quite a bit of heat, though. It's still hot. Yeah. Yeah, it's still pretty stinking hot. So that's good, but it's definitely going to plug up before I run out of pellets. So I think next time I will probably run it with the damper all the way open. I ran this one with the damper closed. I think with the damper open it would burn a bit hotter and probably have less ash buildup right here, and probably be able to get through that hopper like I have in the past. This time I just happened to close the damper. So alright, 7 hours 44 minutes, got a little under half a hopper left, and fire's pretty much out. So still see a little bit of red hotness in there, but we're smoking out the top now, which is pretty much lets you know. So the clear flue gas is gone, and now it's just white smoke. So yeah, fire's out. So all right, well, 7:44. Next time I'm gonna run it with a hopper, or sorry, with the damper here open, so we can get a little more airflow and run it hotter. Well, good morning everyone. It's a new day. I got the stove set back up. Got a new 40-pound bag of pellets in the hopper, and I just relit it, so it should be taking off here pretty soon, and we'll see how this one burns. The only difference is the damper is now open. Alright, it's been 4 hours and 24 minutes. Kind of lost track of time working around the house while this thing's burning, but we are a little under half. We haven't burned quite 2/3 of it, kind of right in between the two there. Looks like the bottom half of the holes are plugged, which is kind of concerning, but we might make it. One thing I did notice is that there's more smoke coming out of the top than there was yesterday, which means I'm not getting a complete burn. But other than that, everything's looking good. It's still moving. Still hear it. It's not quite ripping like it was, but yeah. So we are at 7 hours and 33 minutes. We have probably 8 inches of hopper left. But down here, our flame is gone. All I can see is one little dot of orange left. It's still hot. But I'd say the fire's out. There's not really anything coming out of the top. I can still see some the heat signature coming out the top there. No smoke, but just a little bit of heat coming out of there. I guess we could open this a little bit and see what's going on in there. Now it's been 8 hours, 28 minutes. Got a little bit of smoke coming up through those pellets, and there's maybe 5 inches left. The fire's dead, and now we're smoking out the top. So I know that when I open this door, it's going to be smoky because it's dead. So it's officially done. Yeah, you can see the smoke coming out of there. It's already cooling off real fast. So let me go ahead and close this. So no more pellets. I'll push all the burning pellets into the stove. And there it is. You can see daylight out through those holes because push that plate, pushed everything inside. Whatever's left onto that burn tray there. All right. Well, maybe what I'll try next time is opening them holes up, see if that makes a difference. We'll see. I mean, 8 hours will do, but longer the better, because when I use this thing, it gets dark about 4:30 in the afternoon. It doesn't get daylight till about 7, so long, cold nights. So the longer, the better. All right, good morning, everyone. It's day 3 of doing my R&D stuff here, and got the hopper full again. Everything's the same. Got the damper open. The only thing I want to change this time is I want to try running it with the damper holes open instead of closed. I want to see how that changes things. The only thing I'm concerned about with that is that now the hopper could light on fire if the air draft switches through the front and ends up burning back up into the hopper. That is something I do not want to happen, but I'm just kind of curious to see what would happen if I left those damper holes open. Other than that, everything's the same. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's been 3 hours and 50 minutes, and we have half a hopper left. But what I'm excited about is that it's not plugging up. It's maybe that bottom row of holes is plugged up, but other than that, it's all letting air through. So we're doing good. I think we will be able to get through all that. So we have done half of it, got half of it to go. So got the damper open. All right, we'll check in later. We're at 7 hours and 12 minutes. Hopper's getting low. I'd say we got maybe 4 or 5 inches left in the hopper there. And maybe a third of the bottom hole, or a third of the holes are plugged on the bottom. So it's working. Maybe we'll get 8 hours out of it, maybe 8.5 hours. Hopefully it doesn't plug up in 7 hours and 44 minutes. Alright, we're going to call this 9 hours, 8 hours, 59 minutes. And our pellets are empty. They're not falling in anymore. The last of it's just smoldering in there. And there you go. See daylight. Alright, and that was with the front holes open. So it didn't back up at all.
Don't pop it.
We got a complete burn out of it. All 40 pounds, took 9 hours.